when you're intentional with your cannabis use, it just enhances your life.
Cannabis and sexual pleasure is amazing.
Let me tell y'all something. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. Okay.
All right, girl.
I'm ready for that trip. You know, I may come looking like this, but I am in there. Okay.
What up, y'all? We are so excited for this next group that is coming on to our show. They are a oldie but goodie, one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. You know, whenever you want to relax, relate, release, have a good time, and laugh, these are the people that you call, okay?
Hey.
So here we are to welcome Tahmika and CeCe from Reset Wellness. Hey, ladies.
Hey, thank you for having us. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, love it. So the first thing we want to know is tell everybody about who you are, what Reset Wellness is for those who haven't heard our past interview in the past or don't know about you.
All right. Well, my name is Tahmika, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Reset Wellness, which is a cannabis consulting and wellness brand in Washington, D.C. And then I'll let CeCe introduce herself, and then I'll talk a little bit about the company.
Grandson going down. Everybody like to do grand. That's the first time I've ever got to say it. Grand rising. Okay. No.
Yes.
No, my name is Cecilia Pitt, and I am Vice President / Director of Operations for Reset Wellness. Basically, what I do is make sure that we are paying attention to compliance and just having a good work-life balance. So
she keeps me together, basically. She keeps me all the way together. Because, you know, we are still in startup phase.
Yeah.
We're only 2 years old. We just had our second anniversary in March.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we're constantly growing. So it's been exciting. So I really needed CeCe to come on board because it's a lot in cannabis, you know, regulation, legalization, everything. It's constantly changing. Our industry is still in its infancy. That's how I feel. So what I'm trying to do with Reset is really carve out our lane and really kind of mold the DC cannabis scene to what we want it to be. They're really no true, to be honest, even with these big, larger cannabis companies, we call them MSOs, multi-state operators. They're kind of operating in that gray area too. So none of us, it is still federally illegal. So none of us are really operating 100%. So we decided to take kind of a different route, carve out a little niche here in DC, and it is going phenomenal.
Yes. Well, I am definitely excited about your growth.
Yes. And I am a customer of Reset Wellness. As is
Appreciate you, girl.
I'm gonna ask the next question, but is that new merch I see? That I see you wearing me?
Well, actually, sort of, kinda. We love to support other Black-owned businesses and brands, and there's a young lady that sells these sweatshirts, and now she's switching over to t-shirts because as the weather changed, but she's called the Professional Hood Rat, and she has all these sweatshirts and t-shirts that have these really cute sayings. So I just hit her up because I needed something quick and was like, hey, can you put a little cannabis saying? So for anybody listening, if you like them, you can go to her website and use the code RESET and get 30% off of the cannabis line. So we have But First Cannabis, and then we have cannabis charcuterie champagne, and a couple of other little sayings that she'll be putting out for like the spring and the summer.
First of all, yes, 3 feet.
Right. I love it.
Cannabis, charcuterie, and champagne.
Yes,
okay?
we'll get to that when we talk about the growth and what.
Yes, that's what we about to go into right now. Since our last chat, the last time we had you guys on the podcast in 2019, y'all have been doing some big things. So, can you speak on the growth of Reset during the pandemic?
Absolutely. I think the last time we were on your show, we may have been only like 7 or 8 months old at that point. So of course, since then we've had phenomenal growth. And once the pandemic hit, my husband already had a transportation company. So we were able to quickly pivot to delivery service. DC deemed cannabis essential. And they passed emergency legislation to allow cannabis delivery. So we just kind of did what we needed to do to kind of ride that wave, because our clients were like, wait, I need to, like, I can't, what is going on? What do you mean? Because we actually shut down for a few weeks until DC figured out what it was going to be with cannabis. So we pivoted to offer delivery. We added we would kind of switch up the juice flavors and things like that. And then we also had to pivot our consultations to, of course, the Zoom platform, because we were no longer going into people's homes. That's kind of our unique thing that we do with Reset. We basically bring the dispensary to you. Discretion is key for the demographic that we serve. So we wanted to make sure that we were still able to do these private events, do these private consultations, and people not be scrambling to find their wellness products. As you know, although CBD is legal, we live in DC and we're federal. So our government workers or first responders, they don't necessarily want to sign up to get a medical card, because they don't want their name in the, you got to put your name in the health department. There's so many people that will know that you're consuming at that point. So we just made a very discreet way for them to still be able to, one, learn about the medicinal benefits of cannabis, and two, to do it in a very, very private setting. And CeCe, if you wanted to add anything to that, you can. Just trying to make sure I didn't forget anything else that we did during the pandemic, because we blew up so fast. I mean, it was crazy. We were having over $10,000 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is, I don't even know how we survived, because it was just me and my husband making the products, pulling the orders, processing the order, because our team couldn't come and help in those beginning stages of the pandemic when everybody, we were really on lockdown. So I had my daughter in here helping me label stuff like that. Yes, we had that. So I made her the VP of labeling to give her a little job with the company, because it was just constant every day. We released the e-store because we couldn't keep up with the orders going through our DM, the text messages. So we had to kind of hurry up and get a website built and put out there. And we learned a lot. It was not all sunshine and rainbows and glitter. There were some hiccups along the way. There were some missteps along the way. But the great thing about our loyal customer base is they give us so much grace. They know that we are kind of learning as we go. I think I shared with you all last time that this was not a planned business. This was something we were just doing for friends and family, and really for myself for healing. And it just turned into something. So I was just excited to see how people really enjoyed the products and felt like they were essential to their lives during the pandemic.
And I'll just say that the whole process should be, and I feel is very empowering personally, because now you do have a chance to really see what works and what doesn't work for you. And by having us give you information and places you can go and empowering you to do your research. I feel in general, our customers are becoming healthier. And for us, wellness is really important. So I'm really super proud of us for being able to be people who are change makers now. Now we get a lot of businesses coming to us asking, how did you make it? What did you do? And one of the biggest things is Tahmika always says, see the big picture. So before you launch an idea, kind of visualize it from start to finish so you can think of all the hiccups. And so I feel like even before the pandemic started, we were already putting ourselves in a position for this to happen. So I'm super proud of us.
And I would add, to piggyback off of what she was saying, not only were we able to still reach our customers, and provide what they needed, it also gave us an opportunity to walk it how we talk it when it comes to truly supporting the small business community. A lot of my friends, and I'm very involved with entrepreneurs in DC, we all try to get together sometimes and do these mastermind groups. And I saw a lot of them struggling because they didn't have delivery. So I just put it out there. If you're a small business and you never had delivery and you need to get these orders out because people can no longer come to you, hit me up. We'll work it out. Because my thing was, we already invested in the software and it's not cheap. You ladies have experienced the reset to go and how you get your tracking and all that. Like, that's not cheap. So why have all these businesses trying to invest in this software and build these fleets when we already had cars, we already had drivers, and we could offer that to them? So it was a blessing to be able to do that. And for our friends that were getting laid off, I was able to hire and pay, which to this day makes me teary-eyed, that during that time when people were losing their jobs, we were able to offer them employment. And they were able to keep their lights on and feed their kids. And, because a lot of us, this is what we do 24/7. We don't have 9-to-5 jobs. So we were really blessed to be able to offer our help to our small business community in DC.
Oh, you're such a blessing to them, though. Your whole just being able to offer that, I can understand why that can bring tears to your eyes. That's like, the definition of, a lot of people think about giving back in the sense of just shelling out money, but also being able to provide opportunities to make income is a big part of that too. Wow. Yeah. What a blessing.
It was definitely probably, I think it's a goal of every entrepreneur to be able to employ people. Like, it's cool to be a business owner and have your thing going, but I don't want to be the only one that's eating. I want my people to eat too. So I'm not going to hoard the opportunities. I'm not going to, be like, oh, we got this delivery service and we're going to let them fail. No, why would I do? Even if their business was more popping than ours, it's like, girl, you need us to help you deliver. We got you. You need them plates to get out. We got you. You need to get them cupcakes delivered. We got you. You know what I mean? It was never, even for if they couldn't afford, like, to me, we took a hit, but I really needed, come on, what you need, because we were put in a position during the pandemic to come out truly unscathed. So I know I can only imagine for those that did have to shut down, how that feels, because you, as an entrepreneur, you pour your life. It is your passion. It is what you eat, drink, breathe. There's nothing else. From the time I wake up in the morning to the time I go to bed, even in the fun moments, like yesterday for my birthday, I'm sitting there processing invoices because I know we're closing while we travel. So people are like, oh, let me get my orders in. So my husband, he's like, you can't take a break. And I'm like, I'm still enjoying myself, but let me knock these out real quick, so they can get their stuff out the way. So it was definitely a blessing to be able to provide those services.
Well, they say when you work, when you're doing something that you love, you never work a day in your life, and that's commendable. That even on your birthday, you're like, my business needs to be tight, you know.
Right?
Listen.
So that's something that we really appreciate, and I think, you know, Black people get it way harder, especially when it comes to businesses. Like, they always try to find a reason why, like, we're not doing something right. And we honestly, we say it to we talk bad about our people ourselves. So like, this is like a show and improvement of what it really takes to be a entrepreneur and someone that looks out for other people as well. And y'all didn't even give y'all kudos for all that y'all been doing in a social media game, from I Married My Weedman to Clubhouse. Let me talk about all these little stuff that y'all been doing and these magazines. Girl, take a moment and take that in.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. I'll say that. So Weedman, that it's a true story. Let's just put that out there. And it was not any. I've been telling people I've never in a million years thought of monetizing my love story ever. Like, that was not the goal. I thought it would be cute to write a little ebook, you know, to have it for Reset, to kind of just tell the backstory of how Reset came about. But then I was on Clubhouse, minding my business, chilling, listening to the speakers in the room. And one of the speakers, I guess he happened to see it in my bio. And it was down. It wasn't even like at the top. It was down in the bio. And he asked me to come up and talk about it. Like, what is I Married My Weedman? So when I told everybody, you know, it's just my love story, how I met my husband, you know, how I got into cannabis, and our journey from going from legacy to legal. And the club room exploded. Like, they were like, what? An ebook? No, I see a Lifetime movie. I see a YouTube series. You better write a book. Like, everybody. It was crazy. And, you know, PR, like, people that I was trying to get on their line before, now they on our line because they want the story, you know? And I'm speechless, right? Because I never saw that happening with I Married My Weedman. So now we are trying to figure out what that is going to look like moving forward. So for now, we've been hosting these club rooms on Clubhouse every Wednesday. We just do different topics surrounding cannabis. And I think one of our most popular was, of course, parenting and cannabis. It's a huge topic, but it's also our most controversial topic because, you know, you have your yays and your nays. So we always tell people we share our personal experience so that you can make an informed decision for your family. What works for my family might not work for your family, but I'm in the industry, you know, so I talk to my daughter. She's about to be 9, but I talk to her about what CBD is, what cannabis is. We teach her the proper terms because she's growing up, you know, we can't be naive to the fact that these kids talk about everything way sooner than we were talking about it. And I want her to be able to be like, no, it's not marijuana, it's cannabis. You know, I want her to be that girl, you know? So, you know, I also consumed when I was pregnant. None of the medication, I was sick the entire time with my daughter. And around about month 7, I remember my husband's cousin called him and she was like, why are you making yourself suffer? And I'm like, no, you can't smoke weed when you're pregnant. My baby's gonna. I tapped that thing 3 times, no more nausea. So I literally made myself suffer all those months. And my daughter came out just fine. You know, of course I wasn't smoking all day and all, you know, recreationally, but for that it was I had, what is it? Hyper something when you just can't stop throwing up. And they say after the first trimester it's supposed to go away, but mine didn't. And I mean, hospitalized type of vomiting. It was so bad I couldn't eat. So I was losing weight instead of gaining. And cannabis changed all of that for me. So when I share that, of course, some people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. And then some people are like, yes, because I suffer with the same thing. Tell me what you did. I can't take it.
Word. I'm sorry. Wait, this is mind blowing. Like, this is earth shattering right now. Like, I actually know someone. I won't expose who they are, but I have a relative whose girlfriend did that while she was pregnant, and it was unheard of because it was years ago. It was like last decade. And she would do that, and then she would also, like, when she was nursing, she smoked, and she was like, the baby's just fine. And to her point, that kid is just fine, and I'm sure she's done it with, you know, whatever other children she's had. So that is really insightful. So it wasn't even just, was it with the THC? Well, you said you smoked. You actually smoked. It wasn't
so the THC is the best thing for nausea.
Mm.
So that's why they give it to cancer, Marinol, you know, they give it to cancer patients and stuff to help control, because they had me on like Zofran, like all these anti-vomit, you know, nausea medications, and none of
the same thing too, but it wasn't as severe. But I was like that all the way until I got on the table, thrown up the whole time.
And
start to finish.
A couple puffs, and only in the evening. It would last me through the whole next day, you know. And when I was, and my daughter, like I said, she's 9. She'll be 9 in July. She's in the 3rd grade, but she reads and does math on a 5th and 6th grade level. My son, I wasn't really sick with him, so I didn't consume, but because nothing happened with my daughter, from time to time, if I did kind of feel a little, then I would. And I know, in all transparency, I nursed my son for 2 full years exclusively because he would not take a bottle. So I smoked, because that was hard. That was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, because I would pump and he would not even take the breast milk out of the bottle. So I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't leave him with anybody because he would just scream, and they would be like, oh, he'll just cry. No, he would cry for hours and hours and hours until they were hunting me down. So I just had to stop leaving him. So for 2 whole years, you know, he would only drink my milk fresh off the tap. So I needed that to stay sane, because I was losing it.
I imagine. And I think, you know, that conversation is one of those conversations that like
what'd you say, CeCe? Wait.
Nothing. I said
say it, girl, say it.
No, I'm not gonna put my foot out there.
No, I was just saying, like, that is one of those untapped conversations. I have a friend, just as well as Anna does too, that had a similar story as well. And I thought it was wild too when she first told me, yeah, my doctor said it was okay. I was like, really? Like, really? It's okay? And like your daughter, her son is fine. He's like really extra smart. So like, it's one of those things that, you know.
And there is, I'm not, don't quote me on this. I didn't look it up because I didn't realize we would be this far into this topic. But I do believe that there is a recent study that was put out saying that cannabis is not harmful during pregnancy. So I will get more information on that and send it to you ladies.
Yeah, that is some groundbreaking information, sis. Okay, like, man, CBD, boy, cannabis, period, and motherhood is a whole other conversation that we are definitely gonna put a pin in. Hello, Mr. Man who we was just talking about.
Right. I'm going to skip over the next question because we already touched on it a little bit. So my next question is, you know, Reset is definitely not a monolith when it comes to the cannabis consulting company. And you guys kind of focus on the overall wellness of the human being. And I just want to know what it was like collaborating with health coaches and the different mental health professionals that you guys have added on to your team.
I think it was pretty amazing because we started from the inside out. You know, because we really are on this mission to practice what we preach. and let our testimony really be as transparent as we can be. So when we shout out to Britt, wherever she is in this podcast land, you know, she definitely came in and helped us realize what it looks like to be well individually, because it's one of our mottos with Reset is live well your way. So that kind of takes the pressure off of trying to do this, trying to do life like you. So I just feel like now that we all have reached a lot of milestones, we can now turn it outward and really start sharing our stories like we just shared. And then, you know, just really taking the time to be in a place of transparency. And then when people ask us why we are so bold, we can give them tools and say, hey, it's not just about cannabis, it's also about wellness. What are you doing to couple that together? So, yeah.
And for me, it was personal. Last year was a rough year, and not just because of the pandemic, but just I had a lot going on. I had just, you know, my son was still a baby, dealing with all of that. I was in the process of relocating my mom and reconnecting with her after 33 years. My husband and I owned the cannabis company together. So I started with therapy, right? I put myself in therapy. I was like, okay, Tahmika, you know, you have this whole wellness company. And I started feeling kind of like a fraud. Like, I know I wasn't well, you know, but I'm still pushing myself, and I'm not sleeping, and I'm not eating right, and I'm doing because I'm trying to be like the perfect entrepreneur, and I want, you know, the perfect company and perfect operations. And I'm like losing my mind in meetings and like yelling at my team and just way out of character. It was just, it became a lot. And I felt like, before I allow this to break me, let me use the tools that I know can help me. So like I said, one was therapy, and then one was Hype Life coaching. And Brittany, it was literally a butt dial on Instagram. And I was like, well, maybe she's calling about some product. So Brittany butt dialed me on Instagram. And that turned into a 3-hour conversation. Never talked to Brittany outside of when I met her at you all's anniversary, when you did the live recording. And they came over to the table and we talked, you know, we just discussed the products and discussed the brand. Outside of that, I didn't know that girl, you know. But when we spoke and she told me what she was going into, I asked her, I was like, well, do you have clients yet? And she was like, no, not yet. And I said, oh, sign my whole team up because we need this.
And there we are.
Started working with Brittany in August. And it was just, it was just supposed to be 30 days of life coaching and wellness coaching. And we were going to do, you know, virtual workouts to get ready for this photo shoot we were about to do as a team. Well, it was so impactful for me, CeCe, and my husband that we, to this day, are still her coaching clients, because I need it. Outside of therapy, Brittany adds a level, because she's unorthodox. I need unorthodox in my life.
Yeah.
I don't want to do things the way society deems proper. You know, I need to be able to heal the way that I need to heal, and not just from what the therapists and the psychiatrists and all these people are telling me. And working with Brittany, it has been life-changing for me. And then I discovered Destiny Reachers, which is a new ministry here in DC. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary with them. They literally held one service last year, and then the pandemic, they got shut down and had to go, you know, they're in a new city, a new state, don't really have a congregation yet. You know, they were just building, and then it shut down. Well, the pastor is a friend of CeCe's, and she invited me. And I said, you know what? It's online. Why not? Never thought, and I was on my, due to some church hurt, I was like, I'm spiritual, I love God, but I don't go to church and I don't do the organized religion and, all of that. But Pastor Quentin was just so amazing. Really? And from home, I felt like I was sitting in church. So that intrigued me. So every Sunday I kept going. Then he started Bible study, started going to Bible study. Then they had the women's ministry, Daughters of Destiny, started going and being involved in that. And now I'm his senior project manager, helping him really lay and build the foundation for the church. So between God, wellness coaching with Brittany and therapy, my life, I'm a different person than the person y'all interviewed in 2019.
I love that. I love a redemption story. I love that. So speaking of a redemption story, cannabis is being legalized recreationally in more and more states across the country. Like I just saw that it was legalized recreationally, I think in New York, and I know it was New Jersey as well before that. Mm-hmm. And so what does that mean for your business? I know, I don't even know if you guys have, I don't want to say y'all have clients outside and y'all don't, but, both you and CeCe, what do y'all think about that for your business?
I have a love-hate relationship with legalization, and that's because Reset is heavy into cannabis activism, right? Social equity, social justice, give us a fair share. So although I get excited and I'm happy that these states are legalizing, sometimes the social equity and the social justice is an afterthought. So I do love, for what New York is done. They have, I think after our meeting, I think they have one of the most robust social equity programs, and where they really sat and thought about it and worked with the people who have, boots on ground and that really know what's going on in the community at the table.
Yeah, I saw something like they had a whole breakdown on like how much you can carry, how much you can grow in your home, how much when they're going to start having stores available, dispensaries. Yeah.
And I think they're also going to do lounges, which will be a first outside California. Nobody else has cannabis lounges. We're hoping DC does that with their adult program, but that's neither here nor there yet. So for me, although we definitely want federal legalization, more importantly, we want it to be decriminalized. You have people making millions and millions of dollars, and our brothers and sisters are still locked up for nonviolent cannabis possession.
And that was the thing I saw for New York. I saw that they were supposed to. Do you know any more about that? Mm-hmm.
So I don't know a lot because it's so much to keep up with just for DC. I was just like, that's New York. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all did that. Because I do have friends that were a part of that movement up there. So I was able to kind of keep up a little bit, but what they're trying to make sure, what New York is making known, is that the cannabis sales are going to be reinvested into the communities that were most affected by the war on drugs, by the stop and frisk, they knew what they were doing, with all of that, and they knew what community it was going to affect. So New York is definitely getting it right. It's still not 100%. We don't think any of this.
I heard they were expunging records.
So expungement, if it's nonviolent, petty cannabis crimes, of course, there are some people that it just is what it is, and I still feel like that's unfair because people are now making money off of it, but it's so it's definitely a fight. So I always encourage people to really get involved in your local organizations. Like here in DC, we have Marijuana Matters, and they're doing great things in the social equity space, because it's not just about the money. right? How can you even get to the money if you can't even get a seat in the C-suite? Why do we have to come in as the bud tenders and, you know, those entry level positions when we're
making so much, making the licenses and all that so expensive and none of us does.
We are definitely
tried, and they look into your past. They're trying to figure out so they definitely knew what they were doing by making things so expensive. The access is cut off.
Yeah, because I would definitely say the barriers for entry into the industry are ridiculous. You know, hundreds of thousands, even for us. We still can't get a license. And DC just announced, like, they are opening up for cultivation licensing, which is the license that I really, really want to get, because without the weed, there is no industry, right? So I really want to learn how to grow and cultivate my own cannabis. But DC is opening up, like, so everybody's hitting us up, like, are y'all going to apply? And I'm like, yes, I want to, but who has $250,000 just laying around?
And if you apply and you're denied, you don't
get any of that money back. So I'm like, what do you do with that money? Or they require so much, like, you already got to have a space leased, a signed, you know, there's so many things that you have to do to even become a player in the game. So figuring out the back door is what we had to do so that we could still operate legally and not continue to get shut down every other week.
Girl. Oh, that makes me want to smoke a J.
Listen.
Okay. Nobody.
This is what I tell people all the time. We are taking a gamble, and that is why I appreciate the CeCes of the world that see my vision, that believe in the vision, and that ultimately understand that this is a 50-50 situation. We shooting craps. It can go federal, it cannot go. We cannot predict the future. And as much work as we're all doing, and, you know, all these nonprofits and all these people are doing to try to really get federal legalization,
all over the country, really.
We don't know. So we could be doing all of this in vain. So figuring out the ancillary side of cannabis has been huge for us. So that's where the consulting comes in. That's where the private events come in. The non-plant touching side of cannabis is what I had to figure out how to incorporate into the business. So just in case it doesn't go federally legal, we still have a solid cannabis business in place, and we don't really hurt too much because CBD is already legal. We'll always be able, but we want to get into THC heavy. Like, I want to be able to sell all the things, but and sell them legally, just like these others are doing.
Okay. And speaking of THC and, you know, CBD, you know, cannabis has so many beneficial uses. One of them bringing the elevation of your sexual experience.
Yes.
So we trying to get the tea, sis. So from your personal experiences, both you and CeCe, we want to know, what are the go-to products for the big O if you are, you know, interested in the cannabis?
So it's funny that y'all asked us this because I just got into those types of products, not making them, not providing them, but I was interested because we started getting a lot of requests like, hey, do y'all make CBD lube? I hear it's the bomb. And I was just like, I want to, but them areas are so sensitive. I was like, I'm not gonna mess with it. But on Clubhouse, we hosted a sex, kink, and cannabis room where we talked about, everything sex and cannabis. And I met Shawnee. She's here in DC. Her and her husband own the only Black-owned sex toy stores. And she wanted to do something outside of her husband, right? So they have these stores, but she launched a CBD brand called the Noir Leaf.
And look, this is why this is how you know it's good when it's on your dresser. Look, let me be.
So what's that? So that's so what I personally tried from her line is that CeCe is holding up the massage and body oil, and then she also has these arousal drops. Oh, you got those? Yeah. It's called Spark, and let me tell you. So the way because I was talking to her because I was like, I want to get this right when they ask me about this because I'm so loving the product. So it's basically the CBD oil that's in that product. It helps you become more aroused because it brings more blood flow to your clitoris. So it makes you a little extra sensitive down there.
You are speaking my language right now.
Yeah, because I almost dropped it.
Yeah, show it again. Show it again.
It makes
Yes.
You gotta do the YouTube hands. Do the YouTube hands. Yes.
So it's the Spark arousal drops, and
then I also
it's like a blend, with her. Oh, they also have the lube. I haven't tried my lube yet, but I have tried the drops and the massage oil, and
it's a winner chicken dinner.
It is a winner. That's all. Get you some. It is amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
Like to the point where I'm kind of like, oh, like stop.
I am with it. Yeah.
So I've been loving it, and then so she also has these pre-rolls, the CBD herbal, the CBD herbal. So there's like a special herbal blend that she puts together, but then also adds the CBD flower to it. And she encourages you to smoke one of those first with your partner, use the products, of course, visit her store, get you some toys, which me and CeCe, she done gave us a whole tour of her store. It is amazing. She has it's called Heart's Desire, HART. And it's in
hold on, wait, is this the one in District Heights off of
Silver Hill Road?
Yes.
Me and Cal about to take a trip.
I was gonna say actually
take a trip.
Yes, I'm planning a small group trip there, so I will let you ladies know, because a lot of people are like, once we had that club room, they're like, oh, we want to go, let's go, can take me there. We went there after we met with her, and she gave us a tour of the store. I made a couple purchases, and I have been enjoying, I honestly, due to the wellness journey that we were speaking about, I just turned 41 yesterday, and what I've been doing in therapy is just really learning myself again and being my authentic self. And I asked my husband, I said, when did we get so boring in the bedroom? Like, we used to be embarrassed to look at each other the next day. And now it's like, so I had to tell him, I was like, it's boring. And
embarrassed to look at each other. That is real.
That is real.
That is so true. Yes.
Yes. And I was like, I want to get back to that. Like, just because we're getting older and we have kids and all, no. And it has been phenomenal. I've had to slow walk him because I'm ready to jump on it. Give me all the toys, give me the bond, and we learning about BDSM. I'm like, yes, tie me up. Well, no, not tie me up, because I don't like, I'm too much of a control freak for the tying up. But, get the feathers, get the paddle, let's do all the things.
But you can tie him up. You can tie him up.
Yeah.
You don't gotta be tied up, but you can tie him up. Yeah.
So doing all those
on
things.
the bed, and when he pulled back the sheets, he's like,
what is all this?
Hey, yo.
I'm like, oh,
enjoyed.
Just wait, I'm coming.
Yeah. I've definitely enjoyed incorporating cannabis into the bedroom, how she told us to, that's what I've done with my cannabis use. I've become very intentional. I'm not just smoking just to be smoking like I used to. You know, I'm paying attention to the strains, to the terpene profiles, like everything that the plant has to offer, because each part of it is medicinal. Mm-hmm. So when you're intentional with your cannabis use, it just enhances your life. You know, it really, that's why I said live well your way. Yep. And my thing is, I like having a healthy sex life. You know, that's wellness. I need to be well in that way. So I have really enjoyed like us rediscovering those things and using these products to do so. Really, really, really enjoying it.
And you know, my husband is not a everyday. He's definitely a social thing, but even now, I feel like he is becoming more intentional with what he uses it for too. And so, you know, definitely appreciating that, and even using our pain cream sometimes before you indulge. Your body is already in a relaxed state. So I appreciate that. And yes, cannabis and sexual pleasure is amazing.
Well, let me tell y'all something. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. Okay.
All right, girl.
I'm ready for that trip. You know, I may come looking like this, but I am in there. Okay.
Listen, we had so much fun with her that day. Just learn.
That's how you roll it in.
This is exactly how I'm coming in there. Okay.
I don't need your business. Yep.
Mm-hmm. But you know, that sounds like a move. I'm gonna skip the next question. I'll leave that question for last, Kel. I'm gonna go to the question you had, the other question you had, Kel, which is, it's getting hot outside. Mm-hmm. And everyone, because this is related to, since we talking about sex. And everyone, you know, we're all in relationships here, are married here, but you know, we got our friends that are the hoes, HEAUXS, which, you know, that means, you know, lovingly calling the hoes for the streets. Mm-hmm. And we all have had our hoe stage at one point in our life. Give our hoes a message.
But listen,
you wish you knew back when you was in your hoe phase.
But you can still be a hoe with your husband. I'm just saying.
Facts.
Yeah. I've been with my husband for so long, I didn't get to have a phase. Like, I was with him with my phases. You know what I mean?
And I can't confirm or deny because my husband listens to Triple C. So I was pure. But I met you, sir.
I was really trying to think about what would I get.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking about that hard too.
Part of it is, I think that's important what you just said.
Hey, girl, don't worry about it.
You know what?
Completely live and do you.
I was just about to say, that's why me and her are best friends. Because I was literally about to say, you know what? Do you be your authentic self? So if that means you want to go out here and screw the whole Washington football team, do it. And don't worry about what people say. Because listen, part of me needing to go on this wellness journey was trying to conform to what everybody else wanted.
Everybody.
I forgot who Tahmika was.
Who are they?
It was so horrible.
It was horrible.
I almost legit lost my mind. But now these past few months, I would say probably really, so I started in September, really in November, saying, you know what? I'm not sweeping nothing else under the carpet to make people comfortable. I'm not, switching up how I talk because I'm from DC, South Side. We talk Ebonics. I'm sorry. That's just me. So I'm tired of, good morning. I ain't doing that. See, I ain't doing that. I'm not. I can't, being politically correct, all that stuff. Like I had to basically throw all of that in the trash. And like I said, and bringing it back to the whole sex thing, I had to have that courage, as CeCe calls them, courageous conversations with my husband and let him know, like, I'm bored. So what we finna do? Because you can get on this train. And this is how I got him, y'all. I said, or we can start discussing an open marriage. Which path would you like to take?
Okay.
Right?
You gave him options.
I had the options. And CeCe, everybody was like, girl, you're crazy. I'm like, no, I'm not. This is what it is. I want to try and do all the things. I want my whole face to come back. How about that?
Girl, listen, okay.
Because that's what I'm finna be when we in Mexico first.
Let me tell you something.
Get into it, CeCe. Get into it.
I done been around the world and I done seen a lot of faces. That's all I gotta say is that's why I have to stay inside. Because outside, I can't go. I told, you know what? This is what I said to one of my husband's really good friends. I said, if me and Otis, we talk about our different scenarios in life, you know, what would happen if I wasn't here on the earth anymore? What would he do? What would he want me to do? But then I always be like, well, what if we don't work? What is that going to look like? And he was like, I said, well, you can live here. We can all live here. Just don't bring anybody here. But I just want you to know that if you hear anything about me in the street, it's all true.
No, I can't.
All true. Shut up.
It's all true.
All of it. Every bit of it. Because I'm going to be, don't let me back outside. I need to stay inside.
I cannot. Well, ladies, it has been.
I thought CeCe was gonna say, "I'm gonna be up until the day, until the dawn." And we can put the early.
So that's what I would say to anybody who is still out here feeling the need or in their whole phase. Do you? Don't let these guys convince you that you a gold digger or that you're a hoe.
Lori Harvey.
We not. Yeah, she is the go. Take a page out of Lori Harvey's book. Okay, I am here for all of it. I be rooting for Shorty. Like, yes, girl, do all the things.
The right vote is Marjorie. All she gonna do is turn it to a Marjorie.
Yeah.
Girl.
Exactly. She got it from her mama. And speaking of getting it from mamas like you guys, what do you guys have baking next for the future? Tell us what's up next.
Oh my goodness. So Reset is actually in a rebranding phase. Like I said, you know, I feel like we've definitely carved out a lane in DC. We definitely, you know what makes us unique. So I started saying, why am I rushing? Because rushing was making me make some very expensive mistakes. And when I looked around, I was kind of like, we ain't got no competition. So I'm about to take my time with my team and we're going to build this thing right. And not saying that it's not right now, but now that we've been doing it for 2 years and we really know the demographic that we're serving, and we've really analyzed their spending habits and the thing, you know, all that customer acquisition, all those things. I want to be able to deliver based on the information that we've gathered. And so I try not to say too much about the rebrand and all of that. Our clients have definitely, they know that we're doing this, and they've definitely, you know, all of you all have been so patient with us. I do not have an end date. People are always like, well, when are you gonna? I don't know. When it's right. That's what I keep saying, when it's right. So while we're doing that, I can't really give too many details because NDAs and things, but Reset just literally is probably the best birthday gift I could have received. You know, we applied for a program that I really, really wanted to get into, and we found out that we got it. They only chose, I think, about 4 cannabis brands to be a part of this, and I'm talking about everywhere. This is not just for DC. So the fact that we got in, I'm like super excited. It's a 12-month program, and I mean, we're just gonna come out of it greater, you know. I'm super excited about that. And then you all will soon see an announcement from Marijuana Matters. So I'm about to give you the exclusive. But as of April 1st, they reached out to me, and I accepted a position as their social equity coordinator. Because, you know, that is really where my passion is. I love Reset. Don't get me wrong, the products, but I am personally affected by the war on drugs. So that has always been my focus, even outside of cannabis, working with the youth in DC and, you know, and mentoring and doing those things has always been a part of my life. So I was just floored that they wanted me, you know what I mean? Like, I support them as, you know, business to business when they were doing their fundraisers and things like that. But I was just like, me? You know, and I'm super excited. So I started the position April 1st, and I'm so happy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in a space of all things cannabis. And who would have thought, you know, to be in a board meeting and they just fire up. Come on, like, it don't get no better for somebody like me and my husband, you know. So I've just enjoyed all of it. I've enjoyed all of it. And with the team, you know, we're rebuilding our team. We definitely I have to offload some stuff. I want to hoard everything because that's just the controlling side of me. But then CeCe comes along and she's like, that's a hard stop. She hits me with no, ma'am, we're not going to do, because I'm a visionary. So I'm like, you know, when God downloads it in me, I just want to do the work. And she's like, no, we're going to do the work, but we're going to slow walk the work, you know? So we definitely have.
All that sounds familiar on this call.
Yeah. We definitely have some great things coming up. We're going on vacation, but when we get back, we're going to start we never made the pivot to virtual events. You know, people were surprised because my background is event management and production, but I felt like everybody was doing it because of the pandemic. And I was like, if we do it, I want it to be something different. I don't want to do the sip and, you know, the typical things. I haven't really seen anybody do any real out of the box events. So I think what we've come up with, it has taken some time, but I think what we've come up with, people are going to really enjoy, and it's going to give a spin to the mundane, you know, Zoom event.
Yep.
So I'm really excited to come back from vacation and make all of these announcements. So y'all are just getting all the
we got all this tea, So tell them what social media handles or what website you want everyone to go on to stay tuned.
So on Instagram, we are resetwellness_DC. If you want to keep up with the lifestyle brand, I Married My Weedman. That's exactly what it is on Instagram. I Married My Weedman. And our e-store is the resetwellnessgroup.com.
Yes, well, I'm so excited me and Kel are so excited to continue to support you guys. We are lifers, we are life customers of y'all's, and we just love you guys, and we love seeing your growth, and y'all are just good people, really good people. So we enjoy supporting you guys and love having you on the podcast at any time. We just can't wait to see all the announcements that you have coming.
Yes, and CeCe also shares her cannabis journey at Reset with CeCe. I forgot about that. So she's starting to put her personal journey and and her being a CannaMom and all of that. She's starting to share how cannabis has enhanced her life, because we want people to know, like, we're not just selling this to y'all, like we are really using it and incorporating it into our daily lives. So it's all about wellness all the way across the board. So,
and I see y'all growing too. Y'all are doing big
things.
You know, so I appreciate everyone.
Heart.
Growing. Yes.
Yes, thank you guys so much for sharing your world, sharing your journey, giving us these great tips, and letting all our mamas out there or moms to be to know it's okay, sis. We got you.
We got
you. And if you feel nervous about it, hit me up. I will talk you through it. And we also have a cannabis nurse on the team for people that do need a deeper dive, because we are not medical professionals. And we also, if anybody is struggling with mental health, we also just brought on recently a therapist. So for those that need to go deeper into the mental and need a little bit more than life coaching, which is all we can kind of offer, she's available to do those. So we're going to be doing Mental Mondays with Meeks. So it'll be me, Brittany agreed to be a co-host, and Paulette, who is our therapist. So we're going to, so Mental Mondays with Meeks, and we're going to run it live on Instagram and do a Clubhouse room.
Oh shit, I'm hyped. That is so dope. Thank you guys so much for coming on here, and we can't wait to see all that you have coming up. Well, happy 420 everyone. We'll be dropping this on 420. So happy 420.
Cannabis.